All right, ladies, we have a Trials and Triumphs episode. So, we have to share our own stories. Who wants to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I will
offer. Because you already said that you wanted to go not first.
I want to go not first, yes.
Okay, I am actually really excited about my first one. So I finally got my Christmas present from Will. So
are we supposed to remember what it is?
No.
Wait.
Okay.
No.
Caroline, it's
September.
Almost October.
Yeah, it's almost October. Yeah. This will air in October. Yeah, you're right.
Well, let's see if it's worth waiting.
Yes. No, so I asked about this time last year, I told Will that for my Christmas gift, I wanted him to paint me a painting.
Okay.
And because we have...
Caroline, you painted me one quicker.
I know. Yes, I know.
I'm kidding. Again, cobblers, kids have no shoes, right?
Okay.
Right.
It'll make more sense, I think, in a second. So, in our TV room, and I've talked a lot on the podcast about our TV room. It started off black, and I repainted it to sort of this mauve color, or actually, it's
Sulking Room Pink.
Sulking Room Pink by Farrow and Ball. And I have like a sort of beigey colored sectional that kind of hugs the wall, and it's sort of like our television room, and it's like a little cozy at night. But behind the sectional, there's a huge kind of like brick wall, and we had sort of done like a gallery wall above the sofa or the sectional, but I was never like really happy with it. I mean, it was fine, but ultimately I just felt like one big painting would be like what it needed, basically. It was just like be so much more dramatic. So I told Will that I wanted a huge painting, and so it's like 6 by 4 feet.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really
Okay.
big.
Yeah.
So
it's like
this is why it's taken so long.
72
Okay, gotcha.
inches. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Liz knows that life too.
Yeah. So it's big. And I kind of wanted like a Mark Rothko kind of inspired sort of like
Big color field.
big colors blocked in sort of like plum and sort of magenta, and then like kind of mauve-y colors. So it's just sort of like go with the vibe of the room.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where exactly this came from. I just like had this idea that I really wanted. And because it was so big, and he had, I've talked about on the podcast before, the yellow painting that he did in our dining room. And so that was kind of like the only one he'd really done. And so he was just, I think it took him a minute to sort of like get his mind around what I was looking for. Anyway.
And get into an abstract frame of mind.
Yeah.
Right?
And we kind of like talked through like, okay, do the borders of the colors like need to be crisp? Do they need to be sort of like blended out? Like how much like extra paint, or does it need to be sort of like, because, well, it's not like he was trying to rip off Rothko. So it wasn't trying to be like a dupe or anything, but that was sort of what I sort of envisioned. Like I didn't want it to be really detailed. I want it to be sort of like free and like open and big. Anyway, but it turned out great. And so he finally did it. We haven't framed it. I need to order the frame, which I think I told Taryn the one that I got for the painting in our dining room is from pictureframes.com, just like blinds.com. They're like exactly what they sound like. But okay, the frame that I ordered, and I've ordered I've ordered 3 frames from them. One was like our giant one in our dining room for the yellow painting, which is like 48 by 48 inches. But it's like a canvas floater. So you can just like pop your canvas into it. And so I need to do the same for the painting, but it looks so good. I'm so happy with it. And so this room is finally now like basically done. I mean, I have a few things, like maybe one day I might put like a sort of like a woven shade. And then I've also thought like I could put a light fixture in here. It's not wired for a light fixture, but I could put one in here eventually if I like found the right fixture. So I have like a few things that maybe
still shopping, but it will still feel finished if you're in there.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah. So if you're down to like, I might swap out the pillows and a lampshade and a lamp. Like that room's done.
It's pretty much done. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to recover the ottoman at some point just because it was a velvet and it's, 2 kids. Like it has color. It has like purple marker on it now. And like little wet spot. So it needs to be redone, but it's like
velvet does not patina well.
No, it really doesn't. And it's not, this is not a performance velvet. So it basically looked bad from like about 2 months after we got it. So but that's like down the road when the kids are done coloring with markers on my ottoman, which I don't know, Liz. When is that going to be? A decade, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. You've got a few more years.
Some time. But anyway, it looks really good, and he did such a good job, and I'm so very happy with it. And so it just, I need to take a picture, and I'll show y'all, and I'll try to get a a video that we can share on Instagram, but it looks really good.
Oh, that's quite exciting.
I know.
That is a big one.
Yeah.
Literally.
It is quite large. But sometimes you just need like one
statement.
Giant thing. Yeah. A statement.
Something that you're going to walk into the room and see the first thing. It's going to be an impact. Mm-hmm. And I can see how that could be a really great lead into the room. And then you like cozy up on the sofa. That's great.
Yeah. I'm really happy with it. So anyway, that's my triumph. And then my trial is that the like one side of that room, sort of like on the other side of that room, is a sliding door. Well, one day I started to notice sort of like the wood floor, like in front of the sliding door, was like a little darker. I was like, that's interesting. And then about 3 weeks later, the entire floor basically buckled because there was a leak.
Oh no.
Like where the sliding, like on the, anyway, basically, this like a little spot outside of the door leaked, and it really went from like nothing to, it completely ruined that section of the floor.
Oh no.
In like 3 weeks. I mean, it was wild because we've had so much rain. Yeah. And so we've gotten the leak fixed. So at some point I would have to get the floor fixed, but anyway, it's just like a tiny bit of, and the guy who fixed the leak was like, it probably was only like a tablespoon or so of water getting in at any one, like during any one rainstorm, or maybe even less than that. But because like this section of the floor was on top of concrete and not on top of like subfloor, it doesn't have anywhere to go.
Right.
Like it can't.
So it just stayed.
So it just stayed and just like totally screwed up the floor. It's just like, that's how it is with a house. It's just like there's always something. There's always something.
Yeah.
But
that's how we've kept this segment going.
Yes, exactly. That's why we always have trials and trials, because there's always something going wrong. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I'm at least glad that it's fixed now. But moral of the story being, folks, make sure you have some good caulk. If you see a little discoloration on your floor,
investigate.
Don't wait.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
get
like
that.
one of those things where you're like, okay, well, it's like not that bad, so it's fine. Like I'll get to it, and then it just like accelerated very quickly.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's fixed now, so that's good. But or the leak is fixed. The floor is not fixed. But
okay,
I think I'm just gonna like put a little like 2x3 carpet on top of it for a little minute.
Yes.
Until, I don't know, I basically get up the energy to really get someone in here to like pull up the floor and like resand it. It's going to be a whole mess. But anyway.
Yeah, that seems like a big ordeal. Keep us posted.
Yeah. It'll be fine.
I will tell you. Depending on the drama. Sure. If we don't hear about it, we'll know it went pretty smoothly, technically.
Yeah.
Or that 2x3 rug is still
still
hanging
there.
out.
I mean, those were the original floors, right? Like you haven't done anything to the floors.
Well, we restained that. We like
you did
restain them when we moved in. But here's the thing: so like 2/3 of our house, most of our house is on like subfloor with crawl space and a basement. But there's a section of our house that has a concrete slab. I talked about this with Birdie's room because that was a whole thing. I won't get into it, but we had to like install a mini, anyway, I won't get into it. Basically, there's a section of the very small section, one hallway in Birdie's room that is on a concrete slab. And so that you basically like can't refinish the laminate that's on top of the concrete slab. You have to just replace it because it's not thick enough to like sand off the finish and then refinish it. So we did actually have to, that's all new floor where that door was because it's on that one hallway. So, but correct. We didn't redo the floors in the rest of the house.
Yeah.
Only the section that was on the concrete slab. So.
No, I mean, you're giving me total, like, when we were designing our house and we were going to do the whole area, we were like, we don't need that big a basement. And so we talked about doing slab and they were like, and the architect took us out of it and the builder, because they were like, well, that's the part you want to do slab is under your kitchen. And like, you will limit yourself to piping and stuff as well. If you like, things will be in the concrete. And so like, to get things fixed, they're like, it's much better to just like have it, that we can get up under it, which makes sense. And like crawl spaces exist in this case versus like.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, because if
not flooring related, but things going wrong. Or if you want to move anything,
like for example, with Birdie's room, like we wanted to have more air vents go into that room because the air vent wasn't like getting enough air in there. But to get the vent into the room through the concrete floor was virtually impossible. I mean, it would have just been a whole mess. So that was good advice.
Well, we'll see. Stay tuned.
Well, yeah. Anyway, but my painting is so beautiful that I don't even notice the little bobo on the floor. So, that was my trial and my triumph.
Okay.
Do you want to go next?
Sure. Okay. So mine are mostly outdoors. It's end of summer. I really was hoping to like have this beautiful cutting garden this year. It didn't work. Oh no. So I'm ready to like scrap all of the plans that I made for last year and just try something, start planning now for next year.
Okay.
So that's a bit of a trial. But
what went wrong? Was it like the actual planting? Didn't like what you planted? Too much water? Didn't grow?
I think that my yard likes shade. My yard is.
You're a shady plant girl.
I'm a shady plant girl,
and
I want flowers. So I've got to reconfigure how I think about my outdoor space.
Yes, you do.
You know, and go ferns.
I have that problem too, Liz. I like want flowers, but I just don't have a spot that's sunny enough.
I do think if you embrace it, like those shady beds are some of my favorites. Like I love a good fern.
You could do a Lenten rose.
Oh, I do love. You know what? That's the one. Lenten roses are the one thing that grew in my yard, like just naturally. But we had that big freeze in December, and that hurt a bunch of them. So I'm hoping that those come back.
My neighbor's got them if you need them.
Oh,
I said that really.
It took up like half my yard.
Oh, that's a lot.
And
that's aggressive.
And I've handed them to.
Oh, you were giving them away.
I've given them to neighbors and things like that.
Yeah. They like took over.
They
I mean, I know they'll spread.
They're spreaders.
They're kind of slow to spread, I thought.
Oh no, they shoot those seeds.
Oh, okay.
I mean, when I bought the house, I was like, so what grows in the backyard? And the person we bought the house from was like, I don't know.
Oh no.
So it was like the type of thing where
so you had to
they
go
didn't
through
do
this,
anything.
is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
You had to go through this to be like, I'm learning.
Yeah, I'm still learning about this yard. We're 3 years in to this is our third summer.
Hey, we just learned about our deer problem and we're like 4 years in. So I get that.
I want faster action on my yard, but it's just not. It just doesn't happen that way, does it?
Nope.
Yeah. But the good thing about all of that, and I'm taking this as a big win, is that I found that my 15-year-old loves to weed.
Oh,
I win. You do win.
That is a lottery.
Why?
Tell me more.
Yeah. So,
what did you do? Let's talk about the raising.
So really what happened?
Where did you go wrong or right?
So we have like a little space between our yard and our neighbor's yard that where our air conditioning unit is, and nobody ever goes back there. There's no reason to go on that side of the house, and the weeds took over. So his school did like a day of service where they went to community gardens last Friday.
Oh, that's cool.
And he came back and he was so excited. I was like,
I have a spot
I pay hourly for yard work. Like, and I keep, that's like what I keep saying, and he never bites. So this time I was like, you liked weeding so much. You liked working at that garden. Like, I really, I need someone to go back there and take out all those weeds because they're encroaching on the air conditioning unit. And he went back there and he was like, this was so fun. This was great. I mean, I was ready to hire gardeners because things were getting so
amazing.
out of control.
You know the great thing about weeds for Finn?
Yeah.
They always come back.
They always come back.
There's always more.
Look at the silver lining,
right?
Yeah.
We got tricked. We were always promised milkshakes after a full day of weeding.
Oh, that's a good
And
one.
we fell for that as children. Now you couldn't pay me in milkshakes. I'd be like, get out of here.
I can buy my own milkshake.
Yeah, I'll go buy one instead of weeding. But yes, I agree.
It was great. It was
that's
great.
awesome.
And he was, to the point where he was like, you don't have to pay me. I mean, that was really fun. I was like,
What?
whoa.
You need to try some other tasks around the house, Liz. Have you tried this vacuum? It's really...
Oh my gosh. No, it was a whole thing. It was great. It was really great.
That is a triumph.
I am taking that as a win.
And
That
it's a
is a
parenting
major
win
win.
as well. It's a
Right?
house win. It's a parenting
Right?
win.
Totally.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I will take that one. Okay, but I did have an interesting thing happen the other weekend where I was outside my front yard and I ran into my next door neighbor. And we're talking and he was doing something on the side of his house that faces us. And I was like, what you doing? And he was like, oh, I'm just trying to get some of these, wires and cables that don't go to anything. And just making sure that they're not, live or connected to anything. He's like, I'm going to get the house painted. And I was like, oh, that's great. What color? And he's like,
God.
I don't know. He's like, I don't know anything about color. So I'm like, I was like, well, let's talk.
Liz, he literally
Wait.
spoke your
I was
You
language.
just said the
I was
magic
like,
words.
I love color. This is great.
You were like, I'm an expert.
I was like, I do this. Like,
Yeah, this is what I do.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he was like, really? And he was like, do you want to, like, what would you think? And I was like, let me think about it. So I totally,
Oh God, what did you do?
So, I took a photo of his house. I
put it in Photoshop.
I put it in Photoshop.
Oh,
I
Liz,
colored
yes.
it up. I gave a PowerPoint presentation with the paint colors. I was like, because he was just like, I'm just going to do another white. And it's like a one level ranch, like 50s, but it has some like elements, like
neighbor.
At some point, like he
You are a
did
good
some
neighbor.
like house numbers that are like industrial, like looking
okay.
and light are backlit, and it's
Ooh.
kind of cool, right? So I was like, well, here's some whites that are nice, but there are a lot of new builds in our neighborhood that are really generic, that are white. So I was like, so here's some, light grays and some medium grays, and here's some blacks with some navy undertones that are really really good. So I gave him a whole spectrum of colors because just kind of knowing him as a person too, like what he might like. And he's like, what would you do? And I was like, oh my gosh, my neighbor's asking me what color.
You're like second dream right here.
like, this is
I
great.
get to
What
influence-
color do I want to look at? Oh,
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
look at his side of the house every time I'm doing dishes because we don't have a dishwasher. I'm there a lot. Right? So
Yeah.
so I was like, yeah, I would go like really like almost black with like rich navy undertones. I think that would look really cool. And it would, bring a lot of character to your house and like work with the industrial house numbers and all of that. So I was like,
Has he done it yet?
And I was like, and the next step would be just to get some paint swatches and paint them up on the side of the house and see what works. And he
You're
was,
like particularly the one side right here, so I can choose from my window.
he
my kitchen
he
window.
probably will. But,
That's good.
But it was
Yeah.
really, so I texted him this presentation and he was like, wow, this is really great. So we'll see what he comes back with.
Your
I will
other
keep you posted.
neighbors are going to come knocking on your door like,
Yeah,
so John down the way told me that you picked his
Right?
house colors. Would you like to pick that?
I'd
Oh my gosh,
totally be fine
yes.
with that. And I like picked like fun accent colors for doors and like, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see what he comes back with.
Question for you, because
Yeah.
I do feel like I'll have random friends ask me for paint color advice, but is it hard though? 'Cause, okay, I'm happy to give like advice, just, you want my opinion. Yeah, sure, I'll give you my opinion. But it's hard giving paint advice because you have to see it. I guess you can see your neighbor's house colors if
Right.
he tries his swatches, but don't you find it hard to make suggestions without like having the paint color, seeing the swatch? I don't know.
I mean,
It is just a very like
yes. I mean, if I were doing
things
this,
can go wrong.
if this was like a client situation, I would be like all about getting the paint swatches and getting, you know, and getting samples and wood swatches for, you know, like what is he going to do for the shutters and the door and
Got it, yeah.
what does this look like on the surface? But I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm his neighbor and I'm giving advice that like I kind of offered in the driveway.
Yeah.
I'm, you know, if I
You even made a PowerPoint
I made a
presentation.
PowerPoint
You really went
presentation
above and beyond.
and,
Yeah.
like,
Fair.
if I did go beyond that and showed up at his house with like actual paint swatches on
It-
board
it's
or
like,
brick,
no.
like
Yeah.
that would have been
It
like,
hit the
yo,
line.
No,
like,
I'm not suggesting
No.
you do that, but more so like
that would be the
if
next
you
step.
make the suggestion of like a black with a navy undertone, I'm just curious what colors he will actually swatch out and pick. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah,
that there's
no,
a lot
it'll
of
be-
nuance there.
Oh, I gave him
And-
the paint colors
Oh, okay.
and the
okay,
brands.
okay. You gave
yeah.
him suggestions. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I gave
cool.
him like 3 or 4 colors
Got it.
for
And you're
every
like, swatch
for
these 4.
every tone of
Got it.
gray
Okay,
or white
okay.
or black. Yeah. But I do have a
makes
girlfriend
sense.
who does do that professionally, who chooses colors
Really?
for people's homes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
See, I don't see how anyone could really. I don't know. That just seems so hard because there's so much comes down to the light quality, the light direction. And I just feel like it's impossible to account for those without
Yeah.
being in the space as a
She does a
homeowner
lot of
would.
site visits.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay,
when
yeah,
when you hire a color consultant to come and actually choose colors for
Yeah.
either your interiors or your home exterior, they're gonna come on a site visit and
Yeah.
and check it
To
out at
not
different
make
Should
times
take
of day.
interns. I feel like I'd be down to learn this.
I've
Or
asked for
Oh, so
you know
no,
for
it's a no.
personal,
what?
but yeah, no,
I know, like an intern.
Right.
Like I
Oh, an
want to like,
intern. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like I just want to follow
Right.
her and be like,
Yeah.
all right, so how did you decide? You know,
yeah.
like
I
just
mean,
pick
a
her
lot
ear.
of it's on just gut and like trusting what you know about color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's also a painter, and
Mhm.
you know, so
Mhm.
we've studied color
Mhm.
theory quite a bit.
Quite
Yeah.
a bit. Yes.
Yeah, our pal Joseph Albers. So yeah,
Mhm. I don't know. I just had a girlfriend recently ask me for paint color advice, and I did find it hard just because I don't know. Like I'm not there, and she's sending me pictures, so you're kind of like, well, I'm gonna give you my best feedback based
So
on a
I
photo,
don't,
but
I was
like,
gonna say when those happen to me, when I get those kind of questions, I just go with more like facts. Like
Yeah.
your stone is blue, you need a blue undertone for this. You
Yeah.
can't do.
Right.
And so instead of actually giving colors,
Yeah.
I've been very
you
much
give color
like
theory advice,
yes,
right?
yeah,
yeah, I try to give more like, because you have all this shade, everything's going to have more, like you're not
Yeah.
going to get the brightest. So
that's fair.
Right.
Yeah,
because I feel the same way. I'm like, I can tell you what my house is, but your house, I don't know what way it's facing, blah, blah, blah. If someone,
Right.
because I did have a neighbor do the whole like walk by and be like, hey, what white is your house? I'm trying to, and I was like, well,
Yeah, let me give you a bunch
Yeah.
of like precursors or
it was like a
sort
bunch of that.
Yeah.
And then I also said there's people like your friend Liz who do this for a living who like if you can hire one of them and feel like you're
Yeah.
getting the correct one versus
Right.
hemming and hawing and doing
Yeah.
the wrong, because
Right.
especially painting your house is a financial.
The
It's not
outside, especially.
we say this
yeah.
inside all the time about a room, how it's just paint and you redo it. But I do feel like the financial part behind the whole home feels very like,
Right.
that's a big
Yeah.
big price tag on that. So
I mean, in general, like your outside, it's going to look brighter and lighter
Right.
than it looks on the card. And on the inside, it's going to look more vibrant, or I'm sorry, like outside, it's going to look more washed out and
Mhm.
lighter than your paint swatch.
Mhm.
Inside, it's going to be darker and more vibrant than your paint swatch.
Right. And that's really why I wanted to just kind of insert myself in my neighbor's decision because
and this is how I manipulate the neighborhood.
well, no, because he doesn't care about paint colors, you know. He's you know, an outdoorsy guy, and he's
Yeah.
awesome, and he's so nice, but like
This
he's-
isn't his.
but this
yeah.
isn't.
Yeah.
He would probably be fine like going out there with a can of Kills,
Yeah.
you know, and like
Call it a
where it's like I wouldn't be able to like look out my windows without having sunglasses on.
Mhm.
And I
I
feel
have
like
to
that's
say-
how the new builds in our neighborhood are looking too. So it's go
Okay,
warmer.
I love a white house, but you know what is awful? A too bright
Yeah.
white house. It just, I don't know what it is, but it's like nails on a chalkboard, like a visual nails on a chalkboard.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
You know what I mean?
hard.
It's too bright.
It's
too
hard.
stark against just
against like
landscaping.
Yes, exactly.
You
That's
want to
what it
go
is.
something warm, or you want to go something with gray undertones or stone kind of undertones to it. That's going to really work with all the greenery and landscaping around it, because otherwise it's just going to it's going to make
It's like too
your
white
eyes
of teeth.
vibrate.
We've talked about that too. When someone has really white teeth and you're like,
You know what? That's a really great
jarring.
analogy for that.
you're like, oh, that's aggressive. Like,
Coffee stain that.
yeah. That's the approach I've been taking for years. That's really, I just didn't want to scare you with my too bright of white teeth.
That's why I drink
Luckily, it's a podcast, so they're not scared by them. Joking. But no, I agree. Again, everyone listening for a while has known I went with the white, and I was so scared that I probably went too creamy, especially compared to the stone.
I don't think so at all.
One.
Well,
I think it looks it looks great from the street. It doesn't look okay. I hope you take this the right way. It doesn't look brand new.
Right. It doesn't.
Thank
Your
God.
home doesn't look like a new build
that's a
because of
good-
it.
Yeah, like it doesn't
you.
look like it was, because you can tell when they're just put up and they're like this bright white.
They're zingers.
And yours looks like a old house that was recently painted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Good.
Like freshly
I appreciate
painted,
it.
but like
No, I appreciate that. And then and speaking of colors again, back to your point, Caroline, was that I thought Mizzle, which I did in my front hallway, which is a beautiful sagey color or a celadon color, would work on my shutters, and I was just going to use the same color. And the guy at the paint store told me, no, this is going to look like baby blue. And I was like, it's pretty green. Okay. And literally I had the painter do it, and he like painted one shutter, and I was like, oh no, that literally looks like baby blue out here. That is wild. I carried it into the house and put it up against the walls and was like, no, it is literally the same color. That is absolutely insane. And so I had to fully do a different grouping of sage greens outside, and went deeper in color cards that I was like, this can be too dark. It's going to be too much, more than I want. And it wasn't. So I ended up going deeper and deeper, and I picked one of the darker colors that or what I thought would be very dark for outside.
So did you have to do like a more yellow green?
That's an interesting, I would have to look at all of them together to know. Because I could see what you're saying. I just know that it was a deeper, richer color than, like, if you put that inside, you would have been like, that's a very green room, Taryn. I can't even remember what it was, to be honest with you right now. Because the neighbor also asked for that as well. So I looked it up recently, and I was like, oh yeah, it was a totally different color. And I remembered this story. But yeah, it was a much more intense green. And then outside it doesn't. It looks very soft.
Yeah. It's really pretty.
Yeah. And what was the color white that you used for your house?
Creamy. It's literally called Creamy by Sherwin-Williams. So I know. Couldn't go too far,
awesome.
right? It was just the one that, again, we tried even White Dove outside, and it was just not, it was too white for our house and the way we
What did it
face.
look like on the card? Like compared to White Dove? What did Creamy look like
Oh,
as a swatch? Like yellow?
Did it look yellow?
It did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It did.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I did ballet white on our old house, and it looked, just on a card, like beige.
Yeah.
It looked like a brown.
I wonder if this could be the actual use for those like light bulbs that are LED, like bright white, that I never want in my house.
Yeah.
You know, but there's always one that sneaks into your house, and like I don't know how it gets in. I don't know how it got in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like,
I needed it the other day, though. I was painting, and I had my warm, like, 40 watt above me. And I was painting these shades, and I knew the color I was painting in, and I was like, this in this lighting does not look correct. But luckily it was a solid color that was coming from a bottle. So I knew I wasn't messing it up, but I was like, man, I do need a sterile. I need a blue, you know, like I need a clean color light in here right now. And this warm, yummy lamplight is like not okay for my art.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's so funny, because Will's been saying the same thing about, he paints down in our basement, and there's like a window, like, of 24
Itty bitty.
inches. Yeah, itty bitty window. And so he's always like bringing a wet painting like up the stairs, like through our house. I'm like,
He does.
Is this really
in the same
necessary?
boat.
But he's like, I can't tell what the color is.
He needs some daylight.
So true. Yeah.
We need like to get some extra bulbs.
Painting in daylight versus nighttime too. So like, and I'm always painting at nighttime with small kids. I feel like that's my only me time.
Yeah.
So I will get in the daylight. I'm like, what? Like you are like, oh, that is more intense or whatever.
Yeah.
So I need to get a better light up there.
That's funny.
Well, okay. Well, wait. Is that the end of your?
I think that's the end of my stories.
Oh my God. Have we talked?
We really wanted a tangent
Have
out
we
there,
talked
but
too long? I feel like we talked fine. Yeah, no, that was fantastic.
I mean, house colors are important.
It's hard.
It's so hard.
And you don't want to make a mistake. I'm talking about myself because I did, but because it's an expensive mistake.
I haven't even touched that subject for myself.
Yeah.
Really.
Fair. I only had to, so that's why.
Yeah.
I'll just do all my neighbors first.
Liz, just keep
make all the
this.
mistakes on them.
Yeah.
That's what she really did. She put together that whole presentation. She was like, I think this would look good on my house, but let's try it across the street first.
Right, Taryn, you're up.
So I think I have a whole bunch of small ones just to kind of catch you guys up on. So mine won't be a true trial of triumph, but I'll make them quick. So we've been in our house for a year now, just a little plus, and you all will be very happy to know that I still feel like now that I have so much work to do, and I know everyone listening is like, yes, like we all do, right? Like the house projects never end, and I'm trying not to rush any project because decorating is fun, and it can be so much fun as long as you have a plan and you have a vision, and you can slowly take time to find beautiful things. So that's what I'm trying to tell myself, and not be like, this is a marathon, Taryn, so I'm trying, but we have...
And you're going to be there for a long time, hopefully.
Yes, that is what we hope to. So yes, I've been taking my time, but we've hit the fall again, and every fall we throw a big Halloween party, which again, any listener for the last 5 years knows. And so I'm back to like, I was going to do XYZ before I had another group of people come in my home again. And the holidays is that way for a lot of people, where all of a sudden, when we talked about that, like all of a sudden you're like, well, I was going to do this and this before people come for the holidays. So I'm back to that. Like, okay, here's the start of the holiday season. I still haven't gotten the gut punch to paint my walls in my dining room. So, there's like things like that. Okay. I still haven't hung art in our bedroom. It is still sitting beautifully, like, it's styled on the floor, like a book, because on the floor. Yeah, you heard me, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm scared of putting nails in it, but I'm not. But I am.
Why are you scared of putting nails in the wall?
I think I haven't made it the project of the few weeks. Does that make sense? To print the photos I want, to gather the art. Okay. I feel like it's missing a few elements, and instead of just like, I'm going to spend this month focusing on this project, I just walk past the pile of the stuff stacked, and you forget until it's time to vacuum.
You may have other priorities.
Yes. But so we have a bunch of that. But the big kind of trial, I would say, is kind of figuring out the yard, as well as we've talked about, kind of getting, my husband's really been buying tons of plants and filling in, where I'm like, okay, nature takes some time to fill in, but he's like, no, I love it overfilled. And we've already decided to move around our pool. He'd wanted all sorts of different plants, and there's only 2 thin linear beds. And he already this weekend ripped out everything that was in there, because we decided we just wanted more of a cohesive look in there, and the lavender was killing it in there. And so we were like, he took out all I shouldn't say ripped out and threw away. He's placed them around the yard, but he's already filled the beds with lavender again. So hopefully
just like a ton of lavender.
So it'll just be strips of lavender. Awesome. Well, it smelled so good, and the bees were so happy this summer, and like they just did the best on the shaded side and the sunny side. So we're gonna try it, but I just love that, again, I thought that was it, and here I am, already a year in, like being like, no, let's change it again, like this isn't right. And so we made that change, and then I was looking at my phone while you were talking, because I was gonna bring up, in the front yard, we've realized there's a lot of drainage issues, and we've had a lot of rain, but we can't get the front row of our beds to grow, because the way it is like sliding off the roofs when it's like raining has made this kind of like...
Is it drowning?
Like a trough?
It's drowning it. So David dug he's tried... We thought it was because he did root balls at first versus the plant. And then we figured out it wasn't that, and now it's the drainage. So now he's put a row of drainage rock. And again, we hired, You
hired landscapers.
So you're like,
do you have a gutter?
We do, and the gutter catches most, and is supposed to has the pipes. Like, we put in all the stuff you're supposed to. It just, some of that, it feels like I don't know.
Well, there's unknown still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm falling into. And so there's that we're working through. And then the other part that you guys are going to laugh at this, but since we built the house and it was a clay field because we live in Georgia, and I painted my house white, and while construction was still kind of going on, and then they got a landscape last, right? So like the bottom 10 feet of my house, maybe less, I'm exaggerating, 4 feet are the worst, is still this clay color because it's almost like you have to go back and repaint that section. And I don't know if other people have dealt with this or if it's because I went with a white. I have not fixed it because, again, like...
But it's not filled. Your plants aren't filled in yet, right?
And my plants aren't filled in. And so where areas where the plants will fill in, we'll be fine. Like those areas, I think anything that's our water table that was brick before the siding started, I'm not as worried because I do think landscaping will fill in. And we have ivy growing on the bottom water table as well. And that's starting, the creeping fig is, me. And so that's starting to come in. I think that's going to be great. But there are parts where, like our 1-car garage is against pavement. So it's like pavement up into this 1-car garage. So that siding will never have anything grow in front of it. And so back to my whole point of like, I've looked at it for like, a year now. And every time I drive past, I'm like, I need to paint that. So I literally like got out the ladder and like, not most of it, I don't need the ladder, but you got to get out the tools and was like out there and trying to fill that in. So it started to become this whole like where I've almost been like, okay, we have people coming soon again. So like, time to get back to
your Halloween party is at night.
I mean, Caroline.
I mean, not to discourage you, but
low spooky lights.
Yeah,
everybody wants it.
Yeah.
No, your points are very valid. But these are the things
don't clean up for us.
No. And then I was going to say my triumph this week, which again, as you know, we are not sponsored by blinds.com, but Ballard Designs. But I remember telling you all about my blinds journey when I moved into the house. And I just charged my battery operated blinds for the first time. And now
after all this time,
it has at least been 10 months. I couldn't remember exactly, but it has almost been a year. And I think they told me about every 6 months, but we put them up during the day and down at night. So assume twice a day.
Yeah.
For that long. And I just wanted to tell people because I was so excited. Well, all of a sudden it started like I pressed the button on the remote to go down and there was all blinking red lights and all 4 of them, like, 2 of the 4 did. And I was like, oh, it's finally time to charge my blinds. I was like,
how do you charge them?
It's just a USB-C cord or whatever.
But like, do you have to
you have to plug it in, but they give you a very long cord. Okay. So it's pretty long. I had no problem with all the outlets I placed around my house plugging them in. So it was not an issue in my house. I didn't need to step ladder, but
you only have the battery operated ones in your
just in our bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And that we found, it's been the only place that we really needed them. But again, just reporting back, everyone, because I felt like I needed to circle around.
Yeah, no, that's a long time.
Yeah.
That's good. Because I would think that like when you would say battery operated, I wouldn't just think like that could be kind of annoying. But yeah,
super annoying. Yeah. But like if I almost made it a year without even like dealing with it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if we
you can charge it once a year.
Yeah.
For that level of convenience.
Right. Yeah. I feel like for that level of convenience, it's fantastic. Yes. Yeah. So
twice a year is fine too. It was still worth it, 3 times a year, probably 4 times a year would be worth it. Every day. That's nice.
It is. It's a very luxury. Yeah. It was a luxury ad, and I feel it, and I appreciate it. It goes back to that whole we've talked about what people invest in and how they like differently. What's important to you is not the same as what's important to me, and so where you put your money in your home is so vastly different. And this was an area that we were like, that sounds like luxury. Let's do it. And for us, it was right. Yeah.
Well, and then it's not like you need it in every room.
Oh yeah. Well, you
know, and so it's like you pick it in the one room where you feel like this is going to be.
Where it's going to feel like a treat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it does.
Awesome.
It does. Yeah, I didn't do heated floors, which I've also heard is a treat. So, joke's on me.
Well, I love my heated towel warmer.
Exactly. See? Oh, that's another one. See? That's a luxury. Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. They have plug-in ones if you've got room where it's just like sits on the ground.
She's talked about this. It might have been when Karen was on here. Yeah, she definitely has talked about her heated towel.
Mm-hmm. It's great. We put. Did I mention that we put one in our bathroom last year? Like this time last year.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
No, she's in. Yeah,
That's
you need,
awesome.
Liz, you need one too.
Well, here. Okay.
I know I don't have space for those.
I'm not
those
going
kind
to.
of things, but
Well, mine is wall mounted,
okay.
but you do have to get an electrician to get out there to like hardwire it to the wall. But the thing that's amazing about it, okay, in Georgia where it is humid, it's actually even best in the summer because it dries your towels really quickly. It's not that hot. It's like warm.
Right.
And so it just dries your towels right away. So you don't have that like musty, damp. You never get out of the shower and have like a damp towel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's great. I love it.
I do love it. I love the few topics we just like continue to harp on that people are like, oh my God,
You know what? Oh my
let
gosh.
it go.
One of our coworkers recently got a new rug. And she was like, wait, one of our other coworkers told me that I had to get this rug pad that he recommended because she got the rug pad and she said it was amazing. So what's this rug pad I need?
Amazing. See?
So I sent her my famous rug pad and she was like,
The memory
it is
foam
actually
rug pad.
amazing. It totally is life-changing. And I was like, I know.
You're like, you two will talk about it all the time now, like Caroline. I love it.
Anyway, so just if anyone, those were our tried and true, theblinds.com.
Oh, we're going to think of a few more. We're going to definitely think of a few more.
What are some other things?
It will come up again. It will.
Our tea towels. I need to get some more of our tea towels.
Yeah, we haven't talked about this in a while because I feel like that was a Karen initiative of hers.
And then we all got the tea towels. It's a great tea towel. If you need just like a stack of 12 kitchen towels, they're excellent. Anyway. Do you not remember these, Liz? You were one of our OG listeners. So
I know.
I feel like you've heard every episode, but yeah.
I feel like I must have missed the tea towel episode.
It's just like a type of kitchen towel you can order on Amazon, but it's just really good. I'll put the link we can put the link in the show notes of this episode, yes. We really went on a tangent today.
It was very tangent. I know they're going to be like, I don't know what was happening over there. It was all over the place, but...
Well, I think that's it. That's it. Unless you have anything left.
No,
you had a couple trials and a couple triumphs.
Yeah, I told you. I was just listing more today. I have nothing big for you guys in a good way, so...
No, planting is so hard. And plus, you took down a bunch of trees in your yard, so it probably changed, like, the light amount. You know what I mean? Like, things that you had in your old yard maybe were more shade or whatever, so it probably makes it hard.
Yeah, learning. Well, it goes back to Liz's, where I feel like I've learned so much, just like what beds can take and like figuring that out. So
yeah. And then it's tough because it takes so long that it's like, okay, 6 months of waiting or trying to see if that's going to work if I do a little bit of something else. I don't know.
And I don't know about y'all, but there's some things in our yard where initially when we planted them, I was like, oh, these don't look like they're doing very well. But then I give them like 2 years. And now I'm like, oh, okay, that's much better. But it's kind of hard to know sometimes when to like cut and run and when to just wait it out and see if it'll eventually get better. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but things are hard. They're living things. So just they're not a known quantity. I get it. It's really annoying. Okay, I think we need to end this episode.
I didn't say that, Caroline. That was you. We can keep talking.
Well, your faces said it all. I could tell from your faces, like, okay, wrap it up.
You know, trees, they grow. Yeah. I felt like you were giving us more.
We should probably cut this whole end.
Yeah.